Hello everyone and welcome back to another. In today's video we are going to be doing a how to build for the brand new Liz and Melly. Yeah, there's not much to say. We're doing a how to build on these two here. Happy New Year if you're watching this on New Year. But yeah, let's look at their substats first. Pierce rate is actually quite high, which is kind of good. They have good CC. They're not the highest CC character in the game at the moment. I think they're the second highest, I think. 124% pierce rate is good. 92% resistance is quite nice. 132 crit chance is still very good, but not as good as Demon King melee. Same with the crit dam as well, still very good, but not as high as Demon King melee. 99% crit resistance, quite good. 120% crit defense is also quite good. 14% lifesteal is actually very good, bear in mind they're passive. Of course, these are the stats with all outfits, as I have all outfits for them at the moment. On to skills. So the first skill is called Illumination, which has a 200, 300, and then a 500 multiplier. Illumination is 2 times crit chance, increased damage dealt by 100% of crit damage, minus 100%, and then attack is increased by 8% when the skill is used while Blade of Judgment is active, which is a buff they get. Next skill is called Shadow Flare, 150, 200, 300. So it's not really too big of an increase from 1 to 2, but there's a decent increase between 2 and 3. Shadow Flare is 2 times pierce rate, 2 times crit damage, and increased crit chance by 2 times when the skill is used while Guardians of Harmony is active, which I believe is their shield when their shield is active. The ultimate, this is a 5-6. At 3-6, you do not have this damage reduction bit. That doesn't exist unless you're 3-6 or higher. The hero duo gains Blade of Judgment for 2 turns and then inflicts illumination damage equal to 470%. This is a 5-6, so it's a very powerful ultimate, but it's a low multiplier for that reason. You attack on all enemies. If the duo hero has a Guardians of Harmony effect while participating in battle, allies take 20% less damage, which is kind of cool. Blade of Judgment, attack-related stats increased by 20%, inflicts additional damage equal to 800% of initial attack. Once again, that is based on ult level. I'm not sure. I think it's 600% on 1-6, then 2 and 3 it's 700%, and then 4 and 5 is 800%, and then 6-6 is 1000%. Illumination, once again, we saw what this does, we know what that does, we know what that does as well. And then Guardians of Harmony taunts enemies and reduces damage taken by 20%. So I'm pretty sure with these two combined, you get about 40% damage reduction. I'm pretty sure this stacks with you as well. And also with that buff with the Guardians of Harmony, you are immune to stun, petrify, or freeze. So once again, LR King is not going to be able to petrify you first turn, get rid of the taunt, and then attack you anyway. But it doesn't matter because your taunt is grey as well. So you don't have to worry about it being removed. Onto the passive, which is, yeah, they're now becoming like entire like pages of a big book. All stats of the heroes increased by 7% for each applicable ally participating in battle. Applicable allies are goddess, demons, and sins. If all participating allies are demons, the hero duo gains Swords of Darkness, and if all allies are goddesses, the hero duo gains Shield of Light. Only Swords of Darkness will be applied if both conditions are met. Swords of Darkness, damage dealt is increased by 20%, inflicts the damage equal to 200% of initial attack on all enemies at the start of the ally's turn. Basically, you have DOT equal to 200% of your attack every turn, which is pretty good, especially if you're using another Liz Melly because they have a shield up. If they have their shield up, you do most of the damage to the shield already, which is really nice. Shield of Light, allies' base stats increase by 15%, and allies recover 15% of their max HP at the start of the ally's turn. That's pretty useful, especially if you still got your shield up at the end. Let's just say they spam single targets into melee Liz, and the rest of your team stars the shield, you get healing, which is really nice. At the start of the battle, when the hero duo is revived with the uniques, that they do have a revive passive as well, the hero duo gains Guardians of Harmony for 1 turn. Guardians of Harmony, once again, it taunts the enemies, and then damage taken is lowered by 20%. They're immune to freeze, petrify, stuff. We've seen that already. And then we got the shield here, which grants Light of Darkness to applicable allies for 1 turn. What that is basically just the shield. It's 150% of your attack as a shield, which is kind of handy. You also do 20% more damage with the shield up, and this only works for demons, goddesses, and sins. So if you use the shield, let's say you've got a human on your team who is not a sin, goddess, or a demon, you will not get the shield. And once again, it does sort of balance it out. Once again, if it worked for everyone, it'd be kind of broken. But yeah, decently balanced. All over 6-6. You get 500% multiplier, which is quite low, and you get that's all you get is 1000% increase. That's it. But gear-wise, realistically, you want to give them attack crit. They do have Revive, so if you mix Revive with Rotomio, You got quite a tanky character. They got, they boost their all stats by 7%. You got 3 applicable allies, 21% all stat boost. You're looking at 120 crit res, 140 crit defense, over 110% crit resistance, which is really good. Like lifesteal, you're looking at 35 lifesteal. That is absurd. Especially for a character that can power like insane amounts of damage. Like you can go attack crit, or once again, if you are struggling for CC, HTB defense will also work because their CC, once again, being UR base, they're also the first light UR base, and also the first dual race UR base. So lots of first times with this character, which is pretty cool. But generally, I would run them attack crit, mainly because they are there for damage. Once again, lots of demons. You've got Chana, who's got Taunt for demons. You've got, technically, for Sins, you can use Queen Diane. Either Valentine's or normal LR. You've both got insanely powerful taunts. LR's got the insane damage increase, damage reduction, the slight attack related stat increase. Or if you run Valentine's, you get the basic stat boost, the damage increase from the relic, as well as the attack related stat boost that is provided from Valentine Day Diane's passive. But generally, you want to run them attack crit, because they put out lots of damage, and for PvE, realistically, like that's really what I would be using these guys for, is just general PvE stuff, because they can put out lots of damage, like especially on dogs. When I tried them on dogs, like 14 million on an ultimate is a lot of damage, especially to the 2 dogs. But yeah, generally, they're such a cool character. The more I used them, the more I liked them. Initially, when they first released, or when they're first shown, I didn't really like them, but the more I've used them, and in PvE and PvP, the more I do like them. My only real problem is this AoE skill is a little iffy when it comes to damage sometimes. It doesn't really feel like end of year level damage like Demon King Melee. His AoE was like terrifying. Their AoE feels a little squishy sometimes. If you mix it with like the shield, the ult, it can do quite good damage. But it does feel like you sort of need the buff, you need the shield to power that absurd amount of damage with this AoE. But it's still a good AoE though. The single tie is really good. Like, it's absurd the amount of damage you can do with that. The effect of the skill itself is cool. I do like the talent. It's quite broken. It works in PvE, works in PvP, works everywhere. And I do feel like these guys are going to be absurd in Hero Arena. I do feel like these characters are going to be absurd in Hero Arena. You run them HP defense on a Sins team, or you run them attack crit on a Sins team. Not only are you looking at a main DPS, but you've also got a shield as well, especially a Goddess-less shield, which is one of the more irritating shields in the game, because it only takes damage based on your basic stats and not on the effect of the skill. But generally, really cool character, really cool design. Outfits, I like this outfit. The only outfit I dislike is this one. You got like the Traitor Melee Goddess Liz one. You've got once again this like cool armored up variant of both of them. You got the more like the Winter Date one, which is really nice, and of course you got the Eternal Light and Darkness one, which is my favorite by a mile. And generally, I do recommend getting their outfits. They are end of year, so they're always sort of going to be broken, because end of year are always broken and will normally last until the next end of year. The only problem with this end of year is that because it's a duo character, characters like LR Liz can't be used in certain PvE content, so you may end up switching out this Melee Liz for LR Liz and Demon King Melee, which once again I still highly recommend investing in if you do have them. But anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and make sure you level up your Liz and Melee because they're quite good. Goodbye.